I think, you know, there's a lot of bravery charms in both sides of the players here. We did see one in Stephane's prizes as we kick things off for our round 3 here in Gdańsk Regional Championships. Looks like Stephane's drawn first, so he's going first here. Does open with that Buddy Buddy Poffin.
That's exactly what you want to see. There's the Scream Tail in the active. Buddy Buddy Poffin is so important for these setup decks, specifically the stage 2s, because this deck doesn't really kick on until you get into your Gardevoir EX. So we're definitely going to see a couple Rolts hit the bench as quickly as possible, which is the perfect opener for Stephane.
Yeah, again, we might not have highlighted already, but we're having a little look through the list. He's playing a bit of a turbo build, one that we kind of seen previously a little bit before. He is playing those rare candies in his list. I'm interested to see whether he might be able to pull out that cunning little Klefki as well to try and slow down Kaya's board. There's a lot of unique little pieces there that you can go down. This was a card that
Stephane used at the NAIC to fantastic effect. We can see Stephane looking through his prizes to make sure that he has access to what he wants. It is a little bit risky to just go for 1 Rolts and 1 Klefki here, but if you do have that retreat option, you can shut down a lot of Kaya's draw, and it could be really tempting. When you see a Teal Mask Ogopon, it could be Raging Bolt, it could be Regidrago. That could also be a debate whether or not you want to put the Klefki down based on the matchup, because Regidrago has a few more options to draw. You know, as soon as you get into your V-Star, you should be good. But here's the first decision. Is it going to be double Rolts here from Stephane, or is he going to go in with the Klefki?
Just double checking. It looks like he's eyeing up a vessel as well. So I think that's why the decision's there.
Of retreat,
as you do see, is that the Klefki in the active?
Klefki's at the top. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, especially if he's kept an eye on what Kai's played in the first couple of rounds. Both our players on 2-0 records right now. And this is already a huge decision on turn 1. It is going to be the Klefki.
Come on.
We're getting mischievous here, Alex.
That mischievous lock there. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, basic Pokemon in play, both yours and the opponents, don't forget, have no abilities. So that Teal Mask Ogopon EX is going to be struggling.
He's discarding a rare candy in order to grab a couple Psychic Energy. It's always fantastic for these Gardevoir EX decks to start banking Psychic Energy in the discard pile. That's the best place for them because you can recur them so easily with the Psychic Embrace of your Gardevoir EX. So not only are we shutting down Kaya, we're also getting our little quest going of dispatching these Psychic Energy to help out later. We can bring them all back into play when we want to.
Yeah, with Stephane's list and Gardevoir in general, of course, it's absolutely fine to sometimes take it slower because of that single price. As it's just a pass here, Kaya will need to find one of her gusting outs to be able to maybe utilize some of that abilities from the Teal Mask Ogopon EX. As we do see quite a big hand. There's an Ultra Ball being eyed up in terms of what Kaya might first utilize here. Looks like pitching away a Fire Energy. Does have the energy retrievals in hand as well. Kind of a tricky situation, actually. Some of those...
She can draw a bit. She's got Sada, she's got Pokestop, but your lines are just so shut down. You don't have access to the Radiant Greninja draw. As we see the Pokestop, Squawkabilly is actually a great discard here now that Klefki is in the active position. I think there was one prized Pokemon Catcher. That's probably the easiest way Kaya has of getting rid of this Klefki out the way. As we're going to see the Ultra Ball coming in. Important to discard that Fighting Energy to unlock your Professor Sada, the crucial supporter card of this deck. It provides the ancient Pokemon some fantastic energy acceleration, and it's going to be a Raging Bolt selected for Kaya now in order to get those additional draws. And we'll see if those 3 cards from the Sada can get her towards a gusting effect. That could be massive.
Yeah, as you already mentioned, needing that fighting energy or an energy in the discard for Sada's Vitality to activate, you know, being able to choose 2 of your ancient Pokemon, which is why she chose that Raging Bolt. Does have a Nest Ball coming down as well. But you get to attach basic energy from your discard pile to them. And then that's where you can continue drawing into the deck. You know, this is one of those decks where loves going second, maybe not in this position with that Klefki active, but typically loves to go second so it can start swinging for massive damage very early on. Really start to put a clock on Stephane. I mean, in this scenario, if Kaya could somehow weave in a way of retreating the Ogopon, getting a Lightning Energy and a Gust,
we did see the switch card,
though. The switch card's there. It can happen. So and take down the Rolts. That really puts Stephane back one further turn. Because this is where that decision of whether it's a double routes really comes into effect or not.
Here comes the big 3 cards then from Professor Sada. Let's see if Kai can get a gusting effect. No, just some pieces for future turns. This could actually make a burst draw more awkward as well. Is that even online? I don't think there's any energy in the discard pile. It might just be a pass here from Kaya. Lots of energy recursion cards, but nothing in the discard pile to utilize them with. You can still switch card and burst draw, but it's a lot of your resources going down.
Yeah, not ideal. Not ideal here. This is why I was kind of umming and ahhing about that hand initially with that Ultra Ball that she had to use. That's why she went for the Pokestop and started spinning as one of the first actions of her turn here. It will likely be just a pass. Of course, already utilized the supporter. Does have the Iono ready for next turns. Protects the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX in the active spot. And it's over to Stephane to really initiate things now. Arvin coming down. Can we really start to see maybe just that TM Evolution come into play with further Buddy Poffins?
Yeah, one of the crucial tool cards that you can search with the Arvin here is that TM Evolution. And as you said, Alex, it's going to be the Buddy Poffin alongside it, so you can now establish those additional rolls. The Klefki has done its job. You've slowed down Kaya quite substantially. It's very frequent for the Raging Bolt to get an attack in on the first turn of the game when it goes second. But in this case, Kaya has been shut down effectively, and that means that Stephane is going to be able to get a couple of his Curlier online. That is the core draw engine of the deck with that refinement ability. So important to cycle through the deck, as well as discarding even more psychic energy as you go, as we are going to pass things over on that TM Evolution. A short turn for Stephane, but a very effective one.
Yeah, I mean, just buying a turn here with that Mischievous Lock has been so pivotal for this. Because going first as well, you know, that gave Stephane an opportunity maybe to weave in rare candies if needed. As we do see a stop, only one hit there, but does get the energy into the discard, but still hasn't found a way to remove the Klefki out of the active position. So still very, very awkward.
Yeah, we see the trekking shoe. We need to get towards a vessel or a lightning energy, really.
Oh, there's a prime catcher. Here we go. Massive.
There's the ace spec.
Maybe start to try and weave in a big attack to take down one of those Curliers, maybe limiting Stephane's sort of draw power into his deck. You know, still unfortunate because maybe this is like an extra turn behind now in this scenario, as we do see an instant use of it. We're going to get some teal dancing going with these Teal Mask Ogerpon EXs as well, as we do see the first of that energy retrievals to get that grass back.
Yeah, Ogerpon, the perfect partner for Raging Bolt, because you get to attach additional energy, which helps out with your Bellowing Thunder damage output, but at the same time, you're seeing even more cards. In this case, Kai has found a Trekking Shoe and is debating whether or not it's a keep or a discard here. I didn't quite catch what it was. It's going to be a Sada hitting the discard pile. Draws into another grass, so you can get your other Teal Dance in. Each of your Ogerpon have access to this. Well, you get the Pal Pad back, so you can Pal Pad pre-Iono here and get a couple of those Sadas back into the deck, which is, of course, the main means of you chaining these high damage attacks, but not going to be the Pal Pad just yet. Just going to play the Iono. What do you think about that choice, Alex?
I mean, I think she wants to maybe try and weave in an Iono later get stage as well, because there will be massive KOs from Stephane's side when utilizing things like that Drifloon with the Bravery Charms, because it can one hit, take 2 prizes, just try and limit those Curliers being able to provide draw power for his side of the board. But she's still looking for that lightning energy here.
Oh,
sorry, apologies. It was an instant attack. Apologies. I looked at 5 cards and it was already an instant attack.
Yes, she slammed it down as soon as she saw it. It was the card we were looking for. Another Trekking Shoes coming in as well. It just goes to show how quickly this deck can motor through. Going to get rid of a Raging Bolt EX. You have easy access to more with Night Stretcher, and there's already a couple in play anyway.
Who needs to Pal Pad those Sadas back in when you just draw back in?
Yeah, here we go. 2 energy discarded in order to KO this Curlier. Kai is going to kick off the prize race here and get rid of a crucial engine piece. A pretty strong turn. That's what you expect when you find your A-spec early on in the game.
Grab that Pokemon Catcher as well. So if somehow Stephane only really passes with the Klefki inactive, can still try and weave in an attack on a relevant Pokemon on Stephane's bench. But, you know, Stephane now still has 1 Routes, 1 Curlier on the board, 1 rare candy we've already seen pitched away, of course, as we do see the Routes coming out of the prizes from the Hisuian Heavy Ball here. So just another unique card that's utilized a lot to make sure that we have access to the cards and Pokemon that he needs.
Yep, and actually shuffled his boss's orders closer to being taken earlier on in the game, which could be handy for him because that's just a one-of in the deck list. So that could be something big to pick up as Stephane is now going to cycle some Psychic Energy. I think I saw Gardevoir EX and Professor's Research in this hand. So we're probably going to have an explosive turn, Alex. It wouldn't surprise me if Stephane can construct a 2-prize KO here. Yeah,
I mean, I just want to get your expert opinion, Joe. Why do you think Stephane's gone to go back to Gardevoir EX for this tournament, having been a pilot of Palkia thus far for so long now?
It's a great question. Maybe he thinks that, again, similar to NAIC, where we've almost gone in a time capsule backwards into matchups that he thinks are more favorable now. It might honestly be the power of Klefki. I think Klefki really is a secret strong card in the format. I heard Ian Robb talking about this. He played it in his Palkia deck list, actually, more recently, and he just thinks Klefki is crazy right now because the one deck that wants to go second can be completely shut down by it, and a few other archetypes also are very reliant on the Klefki, so it can sort of make up for the fact that you're going second in this case, as we're going to see the quick refinement before we go into our Gardevoir EX. I actually picked up a rare candy, so you can keep that Curlier on the board, unless there's another one already in hand, in which case you'll just throw away those yeah, there's a few Curliers in this hand, so you can evolve into another one here before researching the lot away.
Yeah, it's actually really unique as well. We see that Drifloon that I mentioned hit the bench as well. That little trick or trade Drifloon with a little Pikachu
Some of those being
stamp.
handed out a couple nights ago, no doubt.
Not very well. People still maybe celebrating this weekend, but
Stephane was trick or treating. He picked that up just the other day.
Yeah, exactly. Balloon Blast, that amazing attack, of course, utilizing for 2 psychic energies, 30 times the number of damage counters on it, and of course with Gardevoir EX's ability, being able to, you know, ramp up that damage, really gives you a shining single prizer Pokemon to attack and take massive knockouts. We do see the research here, pitching away the second rare candy. Doesn't need that anymore. Doesn't need to burst into those turbo turns.
Oh, it's a great 7 cards as well. A couple more Psychic Energy. We've got Radiant Greninja as well as Ultra Ball. Well, our board is full, of course, but we can get rid of a number of Psychic Energy here. So I think this is number 4 hitting the discard pile, and we can retreat with Klefki as well. And there's the Bravery Charm picked up.
Big, massive pickup here, because that now actually opens up the door for a massive swing knockout and will put Stephane into the lead on prizes, as we do see the instant promote there with the Bravery Charm in the active spot. 4 energies attached, 80 damage onto that Drifloon. Would typically knock itself out. Obviously, of course, you can't do that with the ability in itself, but there is that Balloon Blast. Massive KO, taking out one of those Raging Bolt EXs, and it's on Kaya to try and stem the flow here.
Yeah, it seems quite routine for Stephane to just chain 2 prize knockouts from this point on. Gardevoir's in a really strong board state. You've got your EX online. You've got at least a bit of draw power from Curlier. Kaya has to be terrified of this Drifloon right now. You almost always have to go through it. And unfortunately, she doesn't play any tool removal either. So you have to attack through this Pokemon, which means that Stephane is pretty confident that he can keep his board pretty well maintained. So it's going to be a tricky position from Kaya from this stage already in the game.
Yeah, and I think, again, that's why we wanted to highlight that Iono, although hitting the discard pile after being utilized. And she wants to try and swing that back in somehow, because typically with Raging Bolt, for her to be able to attack, as we do see the Pokestop for 2 and the Bravery Charm, one of hers hits the discard there. Typically, to continue attacking, she has to weave in Asada's Vitality, Professor Asada's Vitality, I should say, to actually get attacks going, because otherwise there's no way to attach 2 energies to a Raging Bolt. As we do see another Teal Mask, Ogerpon there with that fantastic ability, just drawing an additional card, weaving in energy attachments, 3 Pokemon catchers in hand. That's fun.
But do you want to play any of them?
No, well, that's the question.
Drifloon is so rough right now. Well, Kaya wants to keep the option available. He's going to discard the other Earthen Vessel here in order to get a turn attachment in, maybe another Teal Dance as well. Nope, just going to be a Lightning and a Fighting Energy coming into the hand. You can, of course, still use Radiant Greninja for some additional draw here as well.
Just a very interesting point. We saw her pitch a Raging Bolt EX earlier on one of her other turns. She's obviously lost one to a Drifloon, but the 4th one is actually prized. She's only got this attacker, so she has to try and start weaving in maybe a Myriad Leaf Shower from that Teal Mask Ogerpon at some stage as well.
If we can't dig towards Night Stretcher, the Myriad Leaf Shower, well, fortunately, it does enough here, right? Because there are some heavily damaged single prizes, so not out of the realms of possibility to weave those in if you have to.
Is there any thought maybe you still try and target down that 2 prizer on the bench and maybe
I feel like
get a Bravery Charm on the active Raging Bolt?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I could see the line where at least you're shutting down Curlier for then you later on to find that Iono and make it disruptive for the opponent. So it's a play that doesn't feel great for now, but could be useful later, as we are going to see the attachment after the Professor Sada onto the Raging Bolt. There's another Earthen Vessel coming in. Yeah,
it really comes down to what question you want to ask of Stephane. Do you want to take out the Pokemon which sort of boost the energy onto your Pokemon to actually swing for big attacks? You know, if there's no Gardevoir EX in play, I guess with no further damage on that Drifloon, it's only doing 240. I say only.
Yeah. Just 240? Yeah, I mean, but it's not difficult for Stephane then to have a gusting effect as well. Your counter catchers would be online if Kaya takes a 2 prize knockout. So Yeah, it's a tough one for her. That one turn of slowdown from Klefki, and then Stephane having a fantastic turn with Professor's Research and a number of refinement has put him right in the driver's seat here, asking all the questions of Kaya very early on in this set.
Yeah, and we see another attachment from that ability there. Draw an additional card. It's a nest ball.
Not too good.
Not ideal. There's one of the Bravery Charms hitting the Raging Bolt EX there. Again,
I feel like you probably would have played these Pokemon catchers if ever it was your game plan to start there. So I feel like Kaya is going to be content just taking out the single prize. Going to even prizes, maybe there's a world where you can take out a couple Gardevoir on the bounce after that. But not always mandatory for Stephane to play that way, really.
Yeah, I guess maybe sometimes just seeing what cards she gets out of her, you know, the draw power that she naturally has from her Pokemon, as we do see there, just the fantastic Bellowing Thunder attack there for 70 damage, very simply KOing that Drifloon. But, you know, like you've already mentioned, it's very likely that we'll see a return or retaliation here, as a Curlier does get promoted into the active spot from Stephane's side. Does have a way of just instantly sort of maneuvering around because of that ability that is online already. So it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it does put a bit of damage on itself. But
yeah, that's often a benefit, Alex.
Yeah,
that might be exactly what Stephane wants here, because there is a Monkey Dory in hand as well. I think the debate here is if you fill your board with a Radiant Greninja or a Monkey Dory. A little bit of draw, or having that damage counter manipulation you can have with the Adrenabrain. Let's see, it's going to be a refinement first here before any other decisions. Popping, ooh, the Bravery Charm. Does that open up any lines here? Well, the Screen Tail's not live because of the Terra EXs on the bench. They can't be damaged on the bench.
Something very unique that sometimes catches out a lot of players.
We see a few Ball Search cards, but no recovery. There's just a 1 count of the Drifloon in the deck list, so we need to work towards one of the 2 Super Odds or the Night Stretcher for Stephane.
Is this a little opening here, potentially?
Yeah.
Because you can't really get down a Greninja to continue drawing cards, for example. What other way is there? Maybe just having to... Didn't hit the boss, I assume, from the prizes either, so it's not really able to gust an easier target.
You can put Monkey Dory down to attempt a Mind Bend plus Iono combination.
Maybe
that might be online.
Has Kaya found a little out?
Well, it's not easy. Stephane can still draw a decent chunk of cards, but there's no guarantee here, because after the Iono, oh wow, Pheasantipity EX.
But it's just the board being locked, so
it would lock you into a Professor Churro to actually get an attack in this turn. Wow, putting another 2 prize Pokemon could be risky for Stephane here. But that might be the line we're going for.
The only recoveries in Stephane's deck, of course, is the double Super Rod and the Night Stretcher, just for that instant recovery of a basic Pokemon, or any Pokemon in reality. But in this scenario, would want to grab that Drifloon back, so it could just swing for massive amounts of damage again. But it looks like just a Pheasantipity is going to hit the board from that nest ball. We've already seen, look, there's number 1 of Flip the Script.
There you go.
We're going to keep a running counter.
I did not expect it from the Gardevoir, but here we go. Fantastic to see. 3 cards for Stephane. Finds Super Rod, but obviously the board is full now, so you're going to have to attack with something else this turn. Yeah,
there's the Super Rod to grab some of those key pieces again. You know, that Curlier to continue even drawing cards as well with that fantastic refinement ability. We saw a little sneak peek of another card that Stephane plays to kind of turbo his energies into the discard as well. That Moonlit Hill was grabbed.
You don't see that too often.
No, not at all. Here's the Ultra Ball, it looks like, coming down here. Maybe grabbing that Curlier to continue pitching away cards.
I think so.
Maybe go into the 1 card he might need to try and retaliate here. Really, really having to think through this turn.
Yeah, so there's no tool removal in Stephane's list either. So you can't Scream Tail into the active and then look to find a tool removal later. Is it going to be a Joust, maybe? Like, what's our best attack here?
I mean, I don't dislike that. I don't dislike that.
I'm thinking it could be a Joust angle. The Prime Catch has been spent. Maybe this is the way that we try and wiggle a turn.
And then Kaya potentially then has to try and weave in those Pokemon catches. We're projecting here, Joe. There's so much to happen here. There's another 2 cards. Is that another Super Rod hit?
Yep. Not going to be ideal just yet, but something that Stephane can keep an eye out for. You do have a lot of Pokemon recursion here. Night Stretcher being a nice addition to Gardevoir as of late. It is going to be a couple Psyche Embraces onto the active, damaging this Curlier for 40. And then where does Stephane go? I think the obvious choice was to... Well, we still have our supporter as well. Can we...
There wasn't much to weave in.
Is the Churro in the hand here? You can Churro up the Pheasantipity and then still get your attack in with a Drifloon here. You still have Ball Search.
I don't think there was a Churro in hand. Otherwise, we would
it's in the deck, is it? I couldn't tell. Is it an Arven in there?
It kind of felt like that's what Stephane was looking for.
Oh, it is the churro. Here we go.
Oh, maybe.
We're good. I think we've got the use out of Pheasantipity. I guess the debate is if you go Klefki and keep Fez now, you're ahead. So keeping Pheasantipity on board seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Just so you can keep cycling towards game.
Ultra to maybe grab the Drifloon back out shortly as well.
I think we're
there. We do see the churro. It does take the two-prizer off the board.
Yeah, I still think this is reasonable. Even though you're ahead, you don't want to give your opponent that avenue of saying, I can win into attack. So just getting that next Drifloon, being a huge headache for Kaya once again here, is phenomenal. And with that extra Bravery Charm picked up, you can reach into the 300 damage output that we need here to get over a Bravery Charmed Raging Bolt. A really nice sequence from Stephane here.
So is that all 3 Bravery Charms from Stephane utilized now as well? Or is it?
Pretty sure. Oh, no, there's one in the prizes.
Yeah, one in the prizes,
and he might actually be taking it from those prizes as well. Let's keep an eye on that. Because it could just be Drifloon 3 times. It could be as simple as that.
There you go, 100 damage on that Drifloon. Now dealing 300 damage with that Balloon Burst attack. Amazing, amazing utilization of some really cool tool cards in this Gardevoir list and Gardevoir deck right now. And it's on Kaya to just try and again find that little out she may have. You know, she will have to try and maybe weave in this Iono pretty soon with a Myriad Leaf Shower attack.
And one thing that's quite interesting about Kaya's list, she's playing no single prize attacker. The only single prize Pokemon she plays is Radiant Greninja. There's no Slitherwing, there's no Sandy Shocks. So she has to attack with a 2-prizer this turn. So even if you are using Iono, Stephane just has to accumulate combos. He doesn't have to find a gusting effect here to close out the game. Kaya has to use a 2-prizer.
Yeah, especially when there's 2 Curliers on the bench as well. That Iono doesn't seem as attractive at this point as well. But, you know, you have to play to your outs. And, you know, as a former world champion, she will be doing that. She does hit that address book. That power pad has come into the hand. So she can try and weave it in, you know, put the power pad and the Iono back into the deck. Does have that Poké Gear as well to try and dig for it. Maybe it's just one out and one way to do it.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at some resources. Her back is no doubt against the wall here. Stephane has been meticulous so far. It has to be the Iono. It might even just be get only Iono back at this stage. It's so important to not miss. We're going to see the quick teal dance first. It still thins the deck. I think we're below 7 cards in that deck, so you can guarantee with your Poké Gear just by eyeballing it here. So we should be able to launch the attack with the little hand disruption that you do have access to. There's been some lists of Raging Bolt that forego the Iono altogether, but Kaya is still choosing to play it. And we'll be getting value of it this turn by the looks of things. Going to be using an energy retrieval for the manual attachment here, so you can knock out this Drifloon as well. And there's going to be a Night Stretcher coming in also.
Yeah, just to get to weave back in a Raging Bolt, because remember, Kaya's still got 4 prizes to take in this matchup here as well. You know, Stephane just did 2, so just one more big knockout as a Bravery Charm does hit the Raging Bolt EX as well. There's the Power Pad for the Iono and the Professor Sada's Vitality. Just putting on because we're just going to Poké Gear for just those 5 cards that were there and just grab what she'd like. So at this point.
Yeah, have to Iono this turn. Stephane's hand is really large over the last couple turns of accumulating with refinement. And it means that you also have good access to Sada on your next turn, because Kaya will still be drawing 4 here for herself, and she doesn't need any cards on the other side of this hand this turn because she's already lined up that KO. So it's all about the disruption here for Stephane.
It's a big ask, big ask. 2 cards for Stephane. There you go, just catching that, of course. We'll be able to get the 3rd from a draw of the turn, and then 2 refinements. We'll see 7 cards in total to try and weave back in a massive attacker and potentially take this game 1 here as well. But it's on Kaya's bit of a last stand at the moment with this Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, as it does take the knockout with that Myriad Leaf Shower. Down to 3 prizes. Can Stephane weave in a massive knockout here and take game 1? It's on you, Stephane.
Stephane did take the Bravery Charm, the 3rd one from those prize cards, so does have the reach as long as he can recycle Drifloon one more time. Stephane's going to choose to go into another Curlier here, one without any damage. There is a Night Stretcher in the hand. You can draw a few with refinement, of course. You can get rid of that counter catcher. I don't think it's going to be online for the remainder of the game, so that's an easy discard at least, where we're going to kick things off, I think. I think possibly Stephane was debating whether a Pokestop is ever worth it first here. But it looks like it is going to be a refinement to start off the turn. Darkness Energy is the other choice. I suppose you never fill up your board with a Radiant Greninja anyway, so...
Counter catcher ever going to be live for you at this point?
I don't think so. I'd be very surprised if it was. You can have a 2-turn attack win condition against this. that you shouldn't ever need to.
Screamtail's max damage right now, Joe? 260?
Yeah, we can get there with the Bravery Charm, right? So it's not getting a clean KO. It has to be Drifloon, right? Or can 260 into the active?
Yeah, that's what I was. So as long as the energies are there, which possibly is, but just needs to get that Bravery Charm, doesn't even need 2 pieces, just needs the 1 now, and can actually get the massive KO with that Screamtail on the bench as well. That Roaring Scream, is that attack? Yeah, Roaring Scream, 20 damage.
Is it
to
240? 240 is our cap, right? We can put 12 counters on us with the Bravery Charm.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. Or could we could use
Monkey
Moonlit
Dory
Hill.
Or Moonlit Hill.
So get us back onto odd and then get back.
There's so many ways. Yeah, Monkey Dory and Moonlit Hill allow you to go into the odds, right?
Well, let's see it come together here. The secret box has been picked up from Stephane now. That could open up boss's orders. Yeah, I believe that's taken off the prizes. Is that an easier route?
To the 210.
That also gets you the Bravery Charm.
Yeah, it does.
Is that game here? Stephane's going through.
Let's
see if we can get it there. Boss's orders, as well as the Bravery Charm. That's all we need, I believe, with enough energy in the discard pile to Screamtail, bring up the benched Ogerponi X that only has 210 hit points, and then the Screamtail can attack the active position. You can see Stephane's going through the motions here, showing that he does have game in order to take that final 2 prize cards and is going to win this game number 1 here of a best-of-3 set in our round number 3. Really impressive showing from Stephane. It didn't really look in doubt after that turn 1, the crucial decision of the Clef Key or not. He chose to go Clef Key, banking on the disruption, and it really paid off. He bought that turn, was able to build an impressive board, and from there looked in the ascension from the remainder of that game.
Yeah, what would be really interesting if a second routes was actually picked up there, would that have changed the sort of run of the game?
Definitely. Well, I mean, you assume that Kai would at least launch an attack, get a prize that turn, but it's just, you've denied Kai drawing like 20 cards.
That is very true. We also did see the Squawkabilly hit the field from the Pokestop as well. Yeah. So fantastic heads-up play there.
This was the choice right here. The very first action of the game could have been so different if that was a different selection from Stephane. Picking the Clef Key opened up the avenue to draw so many cards, and then Drifloon is a machine. It's an absolute monster when it gets rolling with those Bravery Charms. It's very rare that you see a list play as high as 3 counts.
Yeah,
3 copies of that Bravery Charm in the 60. We've seen it from Henry Chow before, and Stephane's employed that same strategy once again. And every attack that he launched, it was with a Bravery Charm in tow, so that he could reach those mega numbers.
Yeah, we saw a really cool use of the A-spec of choice there as well, that secret box. We do see the prizes double curlier for Stephane, just kind of confirming for as well. There's a Radiant Greninja on Kaya's side. We do kick things off. This is game 2 of our Swiss round 3. 2 fantastic players. Stephane has taken game 1, so it's on Kaya, who's chosen to go first in this scenario, maybe just to get and weave in some of those abilities before maybe Stephane has to lead with a Clef Key and move a Clef Key in the active, try and utilize the TM evolution, for example. Yeah,
this is where you see world champions adapt. They find the avenues, they realize what went wrong in game 1, and already we're seeing Kaya take a different approach. Now, getting to go first means you can at least guarantee some teal dances, maybe get your Squawkabilly into the mix as well. You have Bravery Charm, so you can push that out of range of an easy Screamtail or Gardevoir Gust KO later on in the game. So you have the license to use Squawkabilly aggressively here and still make sure you're seeing a number of cards. But I think there's already 1 discarded Professor Sada, so that might also put Kaya off from using a Squawkabilly again, because I think there's another one in the hand.
Yeah, lots of little minute decisions that need to be made. I mean, it's really interesting to try and figure out whether Kaya actually won the flip in game 1. You know, typically wanting to go second.
Very possibly.
Because knowing that maybe Stephane might have been playing Palkia Dusknoir in previous tournaments or back-to-back tournaments. There's lots of little things people have to think about, Joe.
Yeah.
And it's just these little things where Stephane could take advantage of by changing decks.
Let's see, 1 card from Kaya. It's the Prime Catcher. That makes it really awkward to discard the hand. So you're not going to Squawkabilly here. You're going to hold the Nest Ball more than likely. There's 2 Sadas in this hand. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but at least
you can't get rid of that.
At least we'll be able to target down the Pokemon she wants to next turn with the Prime Catcher. Does need to get the energy going, I think, maybe still as well. But let's see how Stephane can navigate his turn now. Buddy Buddy Poffin is always a lovely opening. That's ideal. And also has the Vessel as well for further reach.
Poffin, this is why they call it Turbo Guardi. You get to play just a different myriad of supporters to the Arven, which are really strong when you can get that TM evolution, but you don't want to weave them in too often throughout the game. Having the deeper dig into the deck gives you so many means of discarding Psychic Energy early, which is the name of the game here. And it's going to be an early Earthen Vessel. You can get some of those Psychic Energy pitched straight away. You may even use Greninja first, because in case you draw into the Secret Box or the Arven,
I was going to ask you that question.
Lines. Yeah, I do like the Greninja first here.
I mean, it's always nice because you're getting the energies in the discard anyway for latter stages and turns.
You play 2 Super Odds. You did just get rid of a Night Stretcher, but you should be comfortable getting, like, if you were unfortunate and just drew, like, an EX and something else, and a Curlier, that would probably be the worst thing based on the prize cards.
All these should-be's and could-be's, Joe.
Well,
I don't really like
it's all about the odds. It's all about playing the odds, but I do like using the Greninja for the payoff of the TM evolution.
It could be a massive payoff as long as it's...
I'm pretty sure there were no Curlier in the hand either, which means, well, if you draw the Curlier, then the TM evolution is not helpful at all either, really. Right. You'd only get one.
So then we probably will see the Iono if he's having to choose between Secret Box and Arvens and the Iono that's currently in the hand. Remember that those double Curliers in the prizes will inhibit Stephane's ability to kind of just, you know, pitch cards into the discard and then sort of draw into those combo pieces he needs to weave in big attacks as well. As we do see a fantastic ability. Conceal cards we see so often across its inception into the format as well. Double Poffin.
So this double Curlier and no access to TM evolution would be disastrous for some builds of Gardevoir, but because Stephane is going for the double rare candy approach, you can just go wide and research the lots here, and I think it's not too bad, to be honest with you. There's also the Klefki coming into the hand, so you can get multiple rolls and once again retreat back into that mischievous lock and just say that Kaya is limited once again on her drawing options.
Has the energy in hand from the double from the Vessel already, so I assume we're going to see the attachment to the Radiant Greninja regardless, and then the Iono. Have the Klefki on the board ready to retreat into if he's not able to find the TM evolution. So really unique scenario here, because maybe not having to utilize it too much, but we'll have to try and just weave in what he can in this state.
It's such a strong turn. You're already Bravery Charming up the Drifloon.
Research instead, doesn't he?
Yeah, of
course.
Alex,
why not? Sorry, I didn't even notice that in the list. But yeah, you were talking about being it super turbo. There's 2 Professor's Research in this list.
Good things to hold on to, but as you said, Alex, very happy to retreat into Klefki. Even if Kaya gets around this with that Prime Catcher, it's going to be a disruption option for later turns as well if you have a slow start.
Quite fortunate to top deck the Iono there. So I think she has to maybe just kind of go for it.
You can pay... Oh, no, you can't pay retreat out first either and then Prime Catcher. That's also still awkward. I'm trying to think...
We've got Nest Ball.
Is there energy in the discard pile already for Kaya? There must be, right? Because we're seeing Asada now. Okay, 1 Lightning in the discard. So you can draw the 3 first. See Trekking Shoe now as well. At this stage, do you chase Drifloon just because it's already got a Bravery Charm? I'm pretty scared of that Drifloon. Yeah,
it does remove the Bravery Charms out of the game as well, because there's no way to recover it. Yeah, exactly.
You saw 3 last game.
Surely there's not 4. So yeah, maybe targeted down is a way. Well,
it's not that crazy these days.
Okay, fine.
It's crazy for Gardevoir.
It's crazy that we're even seeing 7 in our first feature match, okay, in total.
Some brave Pokemon out there putting on a brave face for this one.
Look, just don't get knocked out. That's all we want.
Simple. If you don't get knocked out, you don't give up prize cards, and that's a fact.
You can't lose.
Unbelievable. Right, we're seeing some grass energy come out from Kaya. This is because there's going to be a Prime Catcher. Your Ogerpon will be unlocked to continue drawing cards. And you're also going to need that so you can get your Bellowing Thunder damage in. I feel like you have to chase Drifloon. Like, I know these Rolts can become so dangerous, and the reason why Gardevoir is so strong is that Curlier draws you out of all sorts of situations, but there's already a Greninja there anyway. There's already 3 Rolts. You're only taking 1 out. It doesn't feel that disruptive compared to that Drifloon, which is what Stephane will be drawing towards anyway. Yeah,
exactly. And I guess, well, Kaya's not to know that those Curliers are prized, right? So at the moment, they're nothing. You know, she's probably thinking, oh, she has seen the rare candies, though, I guess. Yeah. So you can see those burst turns. So it just gives even more thought to target down the Drifloon. And there we see it.
Definitely makes the most sense. You are going to have to give up an extra energy thanks to the Bravery Charm, but you can allow this. You have so much damage. That's the one thing that's not a problem for Raging Bolt ever, reaching that damage output.
Yeah, and typically when Stephane's attacking, it's only going to be utilizing sort of very squishy Pokemon anyway with the Bravery Charms attached to them, or, you know, unless you're weaving in a Gardevoir EX as a big attacker, it's still quite difficult then at that stage. So leaving the energy on the Raging Bolt, of course, because you have to just kind of continue to threaten that. And then still has a backup attackers actually going just to kind of maybe just Myriad Leaf Shower once again to take those single prizes. Just first prize taken of this game too now. You know, putting Stephane on a bit of a clock. You know, no Curliers, just the draw power already utilized by concealed cards, it looks like. Arvin in hand.
Yeah, it's not too different from last game in that Kaya went in with that single prize and we're going to start to see a board developed. But it's a bit trickier for Stephane to get what he wants this turn. He needs to get a Candy Gardevoir going, which was something he didn't need to do in the last game. But also he needs to work towards a Bravery Charm and a Drifloon again. The
recovery when it was already pitched with the Night Stretcher as well. There's no instant recovery either. And draw power is limited just because of what we know in this viewer cam, this kind of caster cam that we have of the prizes.
Is that access maybe to... Can Secret Box get us towards like a Scream Tail combination maybe? Because you can still go for the active in this case. There's no Bravery Charm on the active Raging Bolts. You still need to get rid of some energy as well, of course. There's another vessel now which is going to help out.
This is why maybe one of the only struggles with that Klefki. If it's not knocked out, it does kind of take up a bench space, but sometimes you want to weave in one of your other support Pokemon like Monkey Dory, or even that Fez at times, which has also been pitched away now.
Ooh, seeing Darkness Energy. Does that mean we're going to get creative with Monkey Dory this turn?
Not sure I've seen a Gardevoir EX in the hand yet. We do see the Arvin come down now.
Yep, so you're definitely going to get that Bravery Charm. It means you don't have to spend Secret Box here. You can just get the rare candy. There's Ultra Ball in hand.
Okay, right.
So we can do something. At the very least, maybe attack with Gardevoir EX with a Monkey Dory and put it in Monkey Dory range for a future turn.
Yeah, it's very, very, very possible, especially when there's no sort of tool removals from Stephane's side as well. Kaya could try and weave in a Bravery Charm to try and slow down that process.
There's always the option of Mind Bend as well.
No, it's just in hand. It doesn't even matter.
There's the Gardevoir. There is the Darkness Energy to Monkey Dory.
We're swinging away.
Yeah, we're going in with Gardevoir. Going to throw 3 damage off of Gardevoir EX and onto a bed.
Nice.
We have the counter catcher combination. There we go. Stephane can still take that 2-prize KO. So many avenues for the Gardevoir. You've got the single prizes that can be burst onto the field all in one go, but you can also get creative with Monkey Dory, pushing that Gardevoir damage.
Went for the Curliers that were in the prizes.
Missed them.
Missed them. Not ideal here, but of course there's still that Routes and one Curlier already still on the board. Still has the Greninja going to continue drawing cards. Kaya's been left with her attacker still in play, however, as we do see a Night Stretcher there, and the energy retrieval for double grass energy there for just continue to draw. Has a Lightning already in hand. We saw her draw into that in her previous turn. There's a Bravery Charm to kind of kick things off and make things even more difficult. It's all kind of popping off here. There's the other Raging Bolt EX as well.
We can get a Sada in this turn if we want to. There's also the possibility to Iono now. I actually really like the turn to Iono now. There's only one Curlier on the board. You're taking out a Gardevoir EX, so you're really making it difficult for Stephane. Finding the opportunity to use this one-of is really important for Kaya, but it feels like because she has the ability to, you should go for it for now, because there are many turns where you can't Iono even when you want to.
Exactly. When you're expending all those energies to try and take the big knockouts on those EX Pokemon,
here we go.
You won't really get a chance to replenish their energies and get weave in a one-off Iono play as well. So I really like this from this scenario. Probably already been telepathed by the sort of turns that she's been having, because she's been able to keep the energies on the board state. But a really good position for her right now, with the Bravery Charms also on the bench, so kind of weaving in the difficulty for the Roaring Scream Tail attack to try and take them down with an easy sort of gusting up and KO as well.
Very true.
So lots of little things that we're having to keep track of. I'm sort of loving to see a world-class player.
This is so much closer than the last game. My goodness, Kaya is in it. You're happy to see a 2-prizer come into the active. That's something you're normally having to hit heads on a catcher to try and do. And now you're also weaving in hand disruption at the same time when there isn't a myriad of Curlier. That's great news. And she's recycling that Iono right now with a Power Pad once again, as well as a Sada. So she is right on in this game with Raging Bolt this time around. Things are looking up for her.
Yeah, really, really unique choices, of course. We've seen a lot of things that you've already mentioned. Sliverwing kind of weaves into decklist now as a single prize attacker. Does a lot of damage to itself, so kind of puts itself in Monkey Dory range, I believe, anyway. So probably not ideal in this matchup regardless.
No.
But she's gone for this kind of full consistency type build with the sort of heavier, even heavier Bravery Charms. We've seen some of it before, I think, in some of the North America tournaments. sort of 3. I think it was 3 in Caleb's list. I think there was 4 in Xander Perot's list, right? So this is the direction we've gone in, and that's a massive knockout now, down to 3 prizes for Kaya in this matchup. Just over 10 minutes to go, so Kaya's going to be looking to try and make sure she takes this game as soon as possible and just give herself a chance. Sometimes there's an opportunity just to donk Stephane, right? They're all squishy.
Well, there's an Arven top deck for Stephane. Does that unlock another Candy combination to get an attack once again here? We're going to see a refinement from him first. Oh, Candy pickup.
Oh, wow.
So you can Candy the active into a Gardevoir. You've still got draw from Radiant Greninja if you wish. There's the option to Boss's Orders, so you could do... Oh, no, because there's double Bravery Charm on the Ogerpon.
See, she's been playing around it where possible.
So we still need to find a attacking basic here. Well, there's the Buddy Buddy Poffin.
Is there a Super Rod to recycle?
Can you Arven now for Super Rod Bravery Charm? I think that's a way to do it. Yeah, we should be able to launch an attack with Drifloon here and take a KO. Or Scream... Well, yeah, you can't Poffin for the Scream Tail. Gardevoir's in the hand. We've got Candy Gardevoir.
Candy Gardevoir in hand, okay,
yeah, I think Super Rod Bravery Charm gets us there. You can recover that Drifloon that was benched very early on in this game. To get access to it, you can Buddy Buddy Poffin it back into play. You'd rather attack with Scream Tail into the active here, but because the ball search is Buddy Buddy Poffin, it has to be the Drifloon.
So do you see the Super Rod being utilized here for the Guardy back in as well, in case another one goes down? Needs to make sure he still has access to that fantastic ability of Gardevoir EX. Of course, Fez also going back into the deck, utilizing it.
Fez.
Maybe when it needs to. Fez EX, sorry. Apologies.
Respect on its name, Alex, please.
No, we're just so we're on a nickname basis now.
We're all going to get on a nickname basis by the end of the weekend.
Exactly.
Fez is showing up all over the place.
There you go.
There is the Super Rod combination with the Buddy Buddy Poffin. Drifloon is back, and he's going to be swinging big. He's going to be taking 2 prizes this turn because we can Candy into the active here and get another huge balloon blast in.
Kind of feels like all of Kaya's hard work just keeps going down to this little balloon Pokemon right now.
We can also get an Adrenabrain in and set up another Pokemon for an easier KO here, because we'll be retreating out of a Gardevoir and in doing so damaging it. Stephane thinking about discarding an Iono off of the Earthen Vessel here. He's looking towards his end game at this point.
Yep, there's the rare Candy. He's just deciding.
You definitely rare Candy.
Yeah, of course.
I guess the only debate is that you have Curly as prize, but no. I feel like you have to Candy up here.
Monkey Dory reducing it down. There's a retreat.
Yeah,
so many things
as
to
you'd expect. Where do you throw this damage counter onto? Do you open up Boss's Order Scream Tail like you did last game onto an Ogerpon, or do you just put it onto the Raging Bolt, expecting that to be into the active position for you anyway?
Yeah, I think you'd expect a Raging Bolt. I mean, that's how you start to target things down. Held onto the boss in hand as well, so things are, caused in terms of an awkward position from Kaya's side, as we do see Stephane now go down to the final 2 prizes of this game 2. Kaya now the one on the clock, because there's no way for her to sort of weave in a single prizer. So it's now down to, can Kaya maybe weave in the attack of the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX and the Iono once again? That's probably the one direction she may have to try and take here.
Yeah, I didn't see a supporter in hand. There was a Trekking Shoe, and you can thin with a couple Nest Ball, but any of these additional Pokemon coming onto the board don't feel great. You can just put more Raging Bolts down, because you've already got one there. There's a Pheasantipity EX in hand. You probably play the Trekking Shoe first, because you don't want to have that 210 hit point Pokemon, the liability on the bench, which Scream Tail would love to mop up with a Bravery Charm.
Any more Bravery Charms available to try and protect it?
There's been a few thrown around, I know that much, but she does play 4. Yeah, there's at least one. Yeah. There you go, Kaya deliberating over this. You're doing this mostly to deck thin here, because you have to dig towards a supporter.
It's a really, really tricky spot here.
Chooses fail one Nest Ball. I think she has another one in hand as well.
Has 3 spaces on the bench right now.
But choosing not to take anything just yet. Maybe just 1 Bolt comes out.
1 Grass Energy as well for some additional draw power.
There's Night Stretcher. You can get a couple dances in before making a choice.
There's a second Nest Ball
now.
I think maybe if you were going to put down the Fez anyway, that first Nest Ball, maybe you should have just taken the Pokemon out. If there's any
it depends how many
Ogerpons.
Raging Bolts there are. If there are 2 Raging Bolt, I'd take them. Yeah, there are 2 Raging Bolts, so you could have taken both out of the deck.
But if Fez is coming down with 210, your Ogerpon's got 210 anyway.
I think the dream is you don't have to put down the Pheasantipity if you use Ogerpon and Trekking Shoe and get Iono.
Then maybe the first Nest Ball should have been a Raging Bolt. I don't know. There's lots of little minute decisions.
I would also like to get rid of some Pokemon out of this deck, because we need these 1 or 2 draws to be massive
3
now.
cards you can see, Max.
Yes.
Here. It's going to be big.
Are we starting with the trekking shoe?
What is it? What is it? What is it, Kaya?
I think
Come on.
I prefer
I think it looks like a charm.
There.
Is it a charm?
A charm lets you use Serendipity.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
very
keep
true.
The charm. You've almost like plussed on your draw there. There's going to be one from Teal Dance.
Energy.
Earthen Vessel. You need an attachment as well, I suppose.
Does have
already
retrievals,
yeah.
have stretches. So lots of things going. Eyeing up the Sada
down
here.
to the... Can we see a supporter?
Why did I say Sada? I thought I saw a Sada. I saw Ancient, that was it.
Thinking of discarding Serendipity. Shows that Kaya... Wow, even with the Bravery Charm. So Kaya trying to get a Bravery Charmed Bolt into the active this turn maybe is one of her best lines.
I guess with this, again, could have played this Fez because there's that Raging Bolt already with
it's already 210. They'd be the same, yeah. Serendipity EX was online, of course. The Drifloon taking that 2-prize KO. She does have Night Stretcher in hand, so she can still get it back.
That is very true.
It's like not making a decision at all if you get rid of it, I suppose.
And more vessels at the moment here as we continue.
You can thin energy. We still haven't hit a supporter, though, so we probably have to put Serendipity EX down now.
Just those little decisions. Doesn't want to give Stephane the easiest knockouts as much as possible. But like I said, would put it in the same range as that Raging Bolt and only has that one Bravery Charm left. That 30 damage maybe just kind of putting Stephane in a really commanding spot.
Yeah.
In Odyssey.
It's completely changed how Kaya wanted to play her turn. We know that much. And, I mean, there's not much more she can draw. So you probably have to use Serendipity EX. I'm not seeing why you wouldn't. Like you said, there's already damaged Pokemon on the bench. Doesn't change what you're losing against. You're getting a Grass Energy to attack with the active here, and foregoing an Iono altogether.
4 minutes remain on this matchup in this round 3. Remember, we are in game 2 right now. Stephane taking a very commanding game 1. Game 2's been a lot closer. Stephane's still in a very, very good spot here, however, just because it's weaving in those single prizes. Kaya's still having to take 3 prizes before she's able to win. There's a Bravery Charm.
Bench. Saying no to the 210 hit points option from Stephane, saying that's better and possibly even hand disruption here. Just hoping that everything's a little bit too chunky right now. 210 hit points, sorry, 260 on the active Ogerpon as Kaya goes down to 2 prize cards remaining with that KO. Stephane does have a 2-prizer on the board, so if Stephane can't find a way to win this turn, there is an opportunity for Kaya to close the game.
Stephane, if is not able to find that attacker, though, can just utilize things like that Turo just to take it back off the board.
That's true as well.
And just
his hand hasn't been disrupted. We know he has access to boss's orders. It's just about trying to get that attacker back at this stage. You can draw a few cards. You can Vessel first here to get some energy out of the deck.
Curly is not helping anymore.
Yeah.
After taking it off the prizes.
I think I saw Nest Ball in the hand. That can get Screamtail, so as you're digging towards Bravery Charm here. So is there still Bravery Charm in the deck? I know we got rid of... Yeah, there's still one remaining.
We've seen 2.
There's Secret Box, and there's the Bravery Charm that we're trying to draw towards here, I think. I believe we played the Arven.
Yes, we have.
And there's 2 of them. I don't know if the other one's available right now.
But then wouldn't be able to necessarily gust up.
Oh, yeah,
maybe doesn't need to at that point.
Yeah, the Screamtail hits... Oh, no, you have Monkey Dory as well. Yeah, so you can get there too. You don't even need to use boss's orders.
Lots of little lines here, but it's just depending on what these 4 cards that Stephane could potentially see from the concealed cards of Radiant Greninja.
Interesting.
And the refinement as well.
We're not nest balling first here to get Screamtail. It should be enough, right? Yeah, we're now thinking about it. I feel like Screamtail has to be the player you want to thin out here because it's good enough. Stephane recognizes that and is going to grab it.
Yeah, dealing plenty enough of damage with that Roaring Scream. As we mentioned.
It's just a tool holding him back from victory here.
This attack dealing 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So it can be the active, can be the bench if it's not one of those Terra Pokemon, of course.
Useless, Curlier Rolts. Our board is full. We can refine away, though. Couple more chances for Stephane.
2 more cards. See what Stephane picks here from these 2. What's he pitching away? That's another Curlier. Double Curlier gone. Who needs them?
Big 2 draws here.
Bravery Charm, massive.
There it is.
Huge pickup from the refinement.
Stephane just
was about to attach.
Making sure he doesn't overcommit. Yeah, he wants to check his Psychic Energy, but we should have the combination required. There's already a God of War EX in play. We can attach and use 1 energy to retreat. That means that we can go into our Scream Tail. We can put all the damage on. It means you can target either a Raging Bolt on the bench, or you could use Monkey Dory and deal with the active. We choose the bench.
Incredible.
And Stephane is able to take a 2-0 victory with Turbo God of War EX.
I think, Stephane, we just saw there a little